Okay, eve of the 2018 Southland Conference Volleyball Tournament. Sam Houston State, of course, 3 seed in this tournament, only 3 losses. Great season for Sam Houston State. And now we get a chance to do our first video of the night with Player of the Year, Taylor Cunningham. So the first thing I want to ask Taylor is, where were you when you found that news out? Was that coach that got that to you? Did you see it, or where were you when you found out?
I was actually at home, and I had just woken up, and I knew that they were going to announce it that day, that morning, and so I just happened to look on the Southland just to see, like, maybe it could be up because it might be too early. And then they, like, the headline was, like, Cunningham, and I was like, oh, my God, like, I can't believe this actually happened. And I was like, oh, my God. And then I called my mom, and I was like, Mom, I got Player of the Year. And she's like, oh, my God, congrats. I have to take you to lunch. Like, that's so good. So, yeah, it was amazing to find out.
That's cool that you got to have a conversation with your mom before coaches or teammates got to you with it. I had one player one time tell me that she was asleep and that her phone kept buzzing and she kept wondering why, and it was because she'd won Player of the Year. So sophomore year, you were second team all-conference. Last year, you were first team all-conference and then Player of the Year. So what's been the key to being able to handle so much success? What do you have to tell yourself mentally, knowing that you're a known quantity in the league with all that success?
Just to not overthink anything and just keep it simple, and just follow your game plan, and as long as you do that, then you'll be okay. And just know that, yes, people will try to stick to me, but just mix it up, and because when you do something consistently, people adapt to it, and then they know what you're going to do. So just always keep them guessing, or try to, and just be explosive and be aggressive, and then you'll be fine.
So were there, I know team goals always before personal goals, but given that there was a season where you were second team and then first team, in your mind coming back for your senior season, was there any part of, okay, I need to maintain that level for us to be successful? I need to be a first teamer or possible Player of the Year candidate?
Yes, always, just because, like, being a senior, you kind of get a bigger role with the team, and then I just always want to give as much as I can to the team, like, performance-wise and just, like, as a person, like, if anyone needs me. And I just felt like it was my job to kind of step up into that role and, like, lead the team on the court and off the court. And I just feel like focusing on that and having that role really helped me to excel in volleyball this year.
One of the things that I think is really cool about your story is you're from Huntsville. The SFA fans know this. My wife is a Sam alum. Okay, so I mean, she wears her Sam stuff around Natchitoches occasionally. But way back in the day, before I was born, my mom taught at Huntsville High School. Yeah, when she was first beginning her career. That's got to be cool, though, to be playing collegiate volleyball in the same town, just literally a few miles from where we went to high school.
It is. It's great to be so close to my parents, and just to be in a town that you already know, and you know the people, and so it just feels like comfortable, and it felt right and the right place for me to go. And it was, honestly, I like love going to games because I'll see like people from around town or people from high school like just come to watch the games, and it's always just good to see like so many familiar faces.
So how did that, I mean, you're now at the end, but how did that dynamic work when you went to college? It's like, okay, relatives and friends, like, I want to be over here on campus. I mean, so how did it work between kind of you breaking away, gaining independence, being at college, while still knowing that relatives are kind of just around the corner?
It wasn't bad at all. I still go see my parents all the time, obviously. And, I mean, during volleyball, you're so busy that you really don't have too much time to do other things with school included. But I try to go see my family as much as I can, or just go by and stop and just talk. Because, I mean, you go from being at home all the time and seeing them all the time to seeing them occasionally. But just being able to be that close to them is what I'm so thankful for.
Was there ever a time during your 4 years where you were just like, hey, I got to make a run to Walmart, or hey, I'm going out to eat, and run into a parent just out somewhere?
Yes, actually, I was going to Kroger one evening, and like I was just going down the aisle, and I saw my parents, and I was like, oh, hey, didn't even know y'all were here. Like, hey, good to see you. It was weird because, like, yeah. I mean, don't think to run into your parents at the store. Like, it's just, but it was funny. It was really, funny.
I thought about that. I wonder if that had ever happened to you. Okay, one of the things that amazes me when I look over last year to this year was last year you received 60 serves. This year you received 690 serves. Okay? I just think about the idea of you going to 6 rotations and the idea of putting Wallace at libero were brilliant calls by Brenda Gray. And we're going to talk about Maddie Wallace in just a second. But when did that first get mentioned to you? Hey, Taylor, we might want to do this.
I think at the end of last season, kind of in the spring, she was like, hey, I'm really looking at you to probably play 6 rotations because we lost 2 6-rotation players. And, I mean, I've always loved defense, and I think I'm, like, good at defense, and coach has known that, but she kept me off the back row just because just how the lineup was set up. But we talked about it then, and then going in the 2 days, like, that's how I trained, and it worked out so well. So, I mean, I love it. Like, defense is my favorite part of the game.
So it wasn't something that when it was first brought to you, you were a little bit like, ooh, this has been working. I don't know if I want to do that.
No, I was ready. I was like, put me back there. Like, I'm ready to be back there.
Well, you're right. I think what was so brilliant about it was that just on paper, when you have players like White and Vaughn last year, both were 1,000 kills at Sam. And then you think, well, who's going to play all the way around? And so I think Brenda just hit the nail on the head with the way she utilized players. And let's talk about Madison Wallace. I mean, what she accomplished and what she did is rare. I mean, there just aren't that many players that now I say that, and then Channing Burleson, who won Libero of the Year last year, was an outside too, but Wallace, played right side for you guys. Just talk about her adaptability. It seems like there's another athlete that can pretty well play anywhere.
She can. Like, she's played almost every position on the court except for setter, and she's so versatile, and she can do so many things, and she's brought so many different, like, attributes to the team, and just her being at libero was, like, the perfect fit for her because she's so good defensively, and, like, she's put up some huge numbers, like, that, like, numbers we haven't seen, like, in the libero spot for us in past years, and, like, she, like, accepted the role and, like, just ran with it, and she's so open to helping any way she can, and she's a great teammate, and, I mean, I think she killed it this year, and it's awesome.
One thing that I think when that first started, and that was going to be the plan, was for you to play all the way around and for Wallace to be in the jersey. I think there were a lot of people that were in my position that looked at it like, okay, well, I'll bet you that works out with Cunningham, but I wonder how that's going to work out with Wallace. But, man, I'll tell you what, it didn't take very many matches to figure out, that really was a glue.
Mm-hmm. It was, like, no one on the team doubted the decision at all. We were like, she can do it. Like, she's going to do great in it. And, like, she honestly, like, she does it all back there. And she just reads the game so well. And I think that's what really helps her. And she's just, like, versatile. Like, and her awareness on the court and being able to play any position, I feel helps as libero too, because she plays, like, in left, a man, right? Like, she can literally do it all. So she's just, like, such a great player on the court. And actually, to add, whenever I found out that I had got Player of the Year and I was reading the article, and then it talked about Maddie right underneath it, and I screenshot it and sent it to her, and I was like, oh my gosh, congratulations, like, I'm so happy for you. And I don't think she knew then, and she's like, oh my gosh, where did you see this? Like, oh my god, did you get Player of the Year? And, like, but I just think that's, like, so cool, because, like, getting to be Player of the Year and then she gets to be Libero of the Year, it's, like, so deserved for her because she's worked so hard.
Just so consistent, like you said, just massive numbers all year long. You guys played. You'll match up with McNeese tomorrow, and you played McNeese for your first conference game. SFA didn't have a game. I came over and watched that. I was there for that, and that seems like such a long time ago. Do you just sort of chuck that and say, well, that's way back in the beginning of the season, or is there anything from playing Cowgirls that you guys have talked about as you prepped for tomorrow that stands out?
Mostly coaches focus on, okay, that game was so long ago, and they've adjusted their lineup that we can't really focus on that game or look at it. I mean, yes, maybe for some tendencies, but for the most part, we need to start a new game plan and figure out what we need to do based off of how they look now. Because I mean, that was like over like a month and a half ago. So yes.
Yeah, at the time they were 1-14, and then they managed to make the tournament. Okay, so I saw that match live, and then I came to watch when you played UNO also. And so just give me your best honest answer here, and don't throw Coach under the bus. But after both matches, I went up to Coach Gray. You won both matches. I went up to Coach Gray and said, good job. Played well, and I'm glad I saw it. And her first response was, we played like crap, played terrible. I got to get him back in the gym. Is she typically like that? Is she typically pretty hard, even on wins, on throwing out praise about stuff like that?
Yes, but in those situations, like everyone on the team felt that and understood that those are not good wins. Like, yes, we won, but our performance wasn't great. So we all recognize that as a team, and we know, okay, we need to get back to work and get better and adjust things and work on what we need to work on to perform better the next game.
And to cast it in a more positive question, what are the ways that you feel like during the 4 years that you've been a Bearkat that Coach Gray has helped you grow as a player? What are things that you'll remember about how she's related to you?
I think with just like how she approaches me, and like, cause I mean sometimes I can be hard-headed, but it's just cause like I am a perfectionist, and so when I mess up, then I get like really hard on myself. And so her just being like patient with me and like actually like really like trying to help me and always being there like anytime like I needed something is something that I'll always remember. And then she's like honestly like the craziest, funniest lady ever, and like just like the things she says to us and like or the things she'll make us do, like it's just like there's so many little memories that I'll always remember forever. And then honestly learning like life lessons too with her, and just her relationship with each of the teammates is just something that like we all cherish, and it's just she's a great coach.
One of the things through the years of knowing Coach Gray that stuck with me, I think this about Debbie Humphreys at SFA too, is that occasionally Coach Gray or Coach Humphreys will say something to me after a match that honestly I won't get. I'll think, why did she say that? And then I get it like a month later. I mean, you're a player, so you would get it way faster than I would. But have you ever had that thought of like you're told something by, and it happens with Debbie Humphreys, and a couple times when I've talked to Brenda, it's the same way. She'll see something, and I'll be like, I'm not sure what she's talking about. And then like a month later, I'll be like, oh, that's what she was talking about.
Yeah, it's like the coach's intuition or something. But like, yeah, she'll like point out something or say something that happens later on, and we're like, how did you know that? Like, how did you even know that was going to happen? And it happens all the time, and it's just like her like mindset and just like her thought process, like she like prepares us for a match and in any situation that we could be in. And so I feel like that really helps us as a team. Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, 35 years, my goodness, that's just amazing. And 698 wins. Has there been any, I mean, you're shaking your head, so you know this. Has there been any talk about, hey, we take care of our business in this tournament, and we'll get to celebrate Coach's 700th here at the conference tournament?
Yes, it's definitely something that we all talked about as a group. Like, hey, we need to do this for Coach. Like, think of Coach whenever we're playing to play for someone, and like, cause she deserves it. Like, so that's our goal. Like, of course to win, but something that inspires us to win is actually like to get her to the 700 wins, and then add another one on the 701. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, you may have answered this in part. We talked about different players changing roles, but you were picked 7th in the conference at the beginning of the year. For the majority of the conference, you were first, second, right there. I mean, right the whole season long in the conversation with UCA and Stephen F. Austin. You finished 3rd and obviously have a chance to win this tournament. Why? What was it? What was the difference between coaches and SIDs picking you 7th and you being in the hunt for a conference title all year?
I think they kind of looked at the people that we had lost and then what we had coming in and the people that were still on the team. And I guess they just like thought, because we lost 2 big roles on our team, like they were 6 rotation players, so they were on like a third of the team the entire time. So I guess they thought that maybe like our game wouldn't be as strong. And so, and we used that to drive us to play this year, because we were like, we're not seventh, we're better than seventh. So let's prove the conference that we can actually, like, we're actually a top contender. And I feel like we did that this year.
I think you nailed it, because I think I felt that too. I think what you just described is probably exactly what I said 3 months ago to people. Okay, you, Madison, Jacqueline Ward, the seniors. Okay. Each person I've talked to tonight, whether it be coach or player, I've ended with this: give me 2 names. If you want it to be more than 2, then it can be 2. But give me 2 names of people that you leave behind that are young players that are likely to be sitting here 2 or 3 years from now. Who do you see that's a young player that you think, wow, I'll graduate and I'll move on, but when I follow Bearkat volleyball in 2021, 2022, they're going to be the deal?
I definitely see Bree Chauncey, our freshman, like, yeah, she's so aggressive, and she's just like a go-getter on the court, and like, she's young, but she still has put up great numbers for a freshman for sure. And she's just like, I feel like she has it in her, and she has so much more room for growth, and it's only her freshman year. So I definitely see her as being like a contender at this point, or this spot. And also, I'm trying to think, because I see we have, I'm trying to think, because we have a lot of people coming in, and then we have some people still on the team. I honestly feel like Amanda, she could be at this point, because she has like the mindset for it, and she has the skill, and she was overcoming an injury from last year, and like, she's still growing and still trying to get back to that point. But I feel like if she actually, like, once she gets like where she wants to be and gets like fully comfortable, she definitely has a chance, because she's like the perfect teammate. Like, she does everything right. She's like nice on the court. She's very like understanding and just very supportive, and I feel like she could be someone that's here too.
You picked 2 names for 2 different reasons that I think a lot of folks that follow Southland volleyball know. Gooch is somebody that it seems like has been at Sam Houston longer than what she had. I think it's because of the injury. And Chelsea, I think a lot of us knew that name. That's a name that, as I kept asking people around the league, that they do. So I think those are 2 great picks. They may be 2 of the Bearkats that lead your team to this spot in a couple years. Of course, they have played a role this year for sure. Okay, well, Southland Digital Network tomorrow, 3 seed will take on 6 seed McNeese. That's in the 3 slot, and I'm fortunate to have the call on that, and great to be able to sit down the night with Player of the Year Taylor Cunningham. So we finally had an obvious one. I say that with as much praise as I can give you. We've had a couple that have been tough, I think, the last 3 or 4 years where you could make an argument. But this year, with the 6 rotations, with the digs, the blocks, the scoring, and all that, just a fantastic year. Thanks for your time, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you so much.